Okay, we're going to continue our study of functions here for a little bit. We're going to talk about reading function values from a graph. Okay, it's very important that we understand inputs versus outputs here and how they're involved in the notations when we do this. So for instance, here we're asked for f at -4. Okay? This is an output when we say f at -4. It is the output for the input of 4. Excuse me, -4 here. Okay? This is very important for us as we move to the graph in using this information and against the notion of what we know about x and y values, x being inputs and y being outputs. So if I want f at -4, the output where -4 is the input, I go to the x-axis for -4, because that's the input, then go up to the graph and read its output value, which is the y value. So in this case, f at -4 is going to be 2. Similarly, for f at 3, I consider 3 to be the input, and then I will go to the graph. I will go to the x-axis for 3, and then find where it's paired up with the graph, and here it happens to be 3, 0. So 3 is the input, 0 is the output. Okay, this next one is read f of 6. So, to do that, we've got to find f at 6 first. Well, f at 6 means to use 6 as the input. Go find its spot on the graph, and then find its output, which in this case is going to be 2. So f at 6 is 2, therefore I'm asked to find f at 2 in the second evaluation of this function. So I will go to 2, find its spot on the graph, then I will realize that its y value, the output, is -2. Now for this one I'm going to do f at -5, which means I'm going to go to -5 on the x-axis and find where its spot is on the graph. Well, if you notice, when I go all the way up or all the way down, there is no spot on the graph where there's an x value of -5. So this, in fact, is undefined, which shows not all values of the output will be defined for certain values of the input for a function. Okay, now in this last one, it's 7 times f at 1. Well, it's 7 times the output of f at 1, so I've got to find the output of f at 1 first, and then simply multiply it by 7. Well, to find f at 1, I go to 1 on the x-axis, find its paired spot on the graph, and I see here that its y value, its output, is -1. So this will be 7 times -1 is going to be equal to -7. Now, this last one may look sort of similar in that it's got a 7 in it, a 1 in it, and a multiply, but we see here it's actually saying that it's f of 7 times 1. So that's the same as f at 7. And that means to go to 7 on the x-axis and find its paired value on the graph, and you see there is in fact none. So that again is undefined. Okay, this is just a basic overview of how to use these notations in relation to a given graph. Okay? So again, this is a situation where you're asked to find outputs here for uh, given values of inputs.